Welcome back to Inspection Pro Joe, episode 13. Today, Joey and I wanted to talk about mentorship and how you can use a mentor to grow your business and, to grow in life as well.
Hey man, when I think of the word mentorship, I think of like maybe one mentor, but really in life you need to have a few mentors. Because one could be a business mentor, one could be a relationship mentor, one can be a life mentor as far as getting the most out of your life. So you really got to look to people that can help you, or that have the life or the business or the relationships that you want to have. And now those are the people that need to be mentoring you. And when I look back at my life, and I'm only 32 years old, so I'm fairly young, but I was very fortunate to understand the power of mentorship through a network marketing company organization that really preached on it. And that's really how I realized that I had a vehicle to grow this business. And I knew I needed to find other home inspectors that were above what I was doing to get ahead. But mentorship is one thing, but it ties back into personal growth, because you can see mentors, but the filters on our eyes are changed through personal growth and opportunities, and people that come into your life that you can look for as a mentor change as you grow personally. At 25 years old or 24 years old, when I started my personal growth journey, I wouldn't have known who should be my mentor. It was really the personal growth that let me filter out so I could find the right people. We talk about the Facebook groups all the time where, people are following people who don't have the business they want, who don't have the successes that they want, but are like average right there with them. They're doing 300-400 inspections a year, and they're listening to those people. The filter and the personal growth that I went through made me realize I had to find mentors that were 10 years ahead of me, or 10 steps ahead of me, so I could learn from them and copy what they're doing while making it my own. So I'm glad we're talking about this, because I think a lot of inspectors need to hear this.
Yeah.
Because the power of mentorship can accelerate your life and speed up your business, so you don't have to wait 5, 10, 15 years. And really, we've had Matt Smith as a perfect example. A year. He took his business to $1 million a year business in a year, because he was smart enough to know the right people to listen to.
Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. And I love that we're talking about this as well. This conversation stemmed from a book I'm actually reading. Last week, we talked about a book that Joey was reading. And this week, I wanted to bring a little bit of something from this book, which is Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. In this book, there's a lot of marketing techniques that get to the core of marketing, which is the story. And for a home inspector, you aren't the hero of the client's story. The customer is the hero, and you're just the guide. So as I'm reading that, I'm thinking to myself, all right, if every story has a guide, what they say in the book is, if you look at any movie, there's always the hero in his peak of despair runs into a guide. So the example they use is Star Wars, right? Luke, in the peak of his despair, runs into Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi is the mentor that he has that helps him in his fight to get what he needs to do done. So that's what really started my thinking of, all right, so if you're a home inspector who your goal is to grow your business, what's the best way to do that? You're in despair, at the peak of your despair in the COVID-19 pandemic, and you need to figure out how that you're going to support yourself, your family, your future. How are you going to do that? And I was thinking, wow, this is a really good topic to bring up. How can we look for mentors? How can we connect people? And what should you be looking at? So that's why I wanted to ask you today some of these questions, like, what was your experience with mentors? Did you have someone that you looked up to in the business right away? Was your first mentor your father, maybe an older brother? And what were you able to learn from them that helped you to grow so fast?
Well, I think, you go back in time, my first mentor was probably my dad when it came to sports. I was very sports driven. And then as I started getting better and performing better and went into college, I had a high school coach who was named Brett Lewis, who was unreal, mentor, taught me what it was like to work hard.
Mhm.
He expected a lot out of us. Parents complained a lot about him because he was demanding, and he expected a lot out of high school kids. But I respected him so much looking back. And then my college coach, not the first college I went to, but the one I graduated from for baseball, what a mentor. And I'll never forget, I'm reading John Maxwell, 5 Levels of Leadership. And it was like I was back in college, and I wasn't even reading a book called 5 Levels of Leadership, but I could relate it to his program and how he did that. So those were major mentors in my life. And I think, you know, Kevin Anderson, my college coach, set me up on personal growth, because I was able to read and grow and relate it back to that and be like, wow, I've learned so much in college, not from academics,
Yeah.
from baseball,
Wow.
from not playing the game, but the practices, the work that we put in, the accountability, the words of the month that we would have, and that really transformed into my business life now. And I think it's a huge reason why we have the success that we have, and why I've had a small amount of success in my short life.
I think that's
Mentors are important. And then, having mentors come in financially and business wise in my life that told me that I really needed to find somebody in the home inspection industry, because I had this family business that was above me so I could grow. And that's where I met a Jerry Linkhorn, a Chad Hett, all these big companies that I was able to piece through. And there's more, Dan Dice, Dan Dice, Nathan Thornberry, where these guys are pioneers and big companies in this industry that I could take information from them and apply it into my own business to accelerate my growth. And, for a couple of them, I think I've grown a little bit past them, but I used them to do that. And I'm so grateful that they were open to share that information with me. And now it's, when I go to these conferences, it's finding people, that may not be bigger than me now, but maybe doing something a little different than I am, that are getting themselves to the level of revenue that I'm at, that I pick and piece. And now it's just putting the pieces together to get to 3 million, to get to 4 million, and understand how they're doing it. What I'm grateful for is that there are bigger companies than me that I can go to these conferences. Like, we're going to Dallas, but I can go to a conference and find them and see what they're doing, see how they're structured, see what they're doing different, how are they growing their business, how they scale quickly, but I'm not going to ask a 400 inspection person what they're doing to scale quickly, because they're not on the same
Yeah.
playing field as I am. At 2 million, 1 million, I can learn from those guys who have multi inspectors, what they're doing to grow, and they can learn from me. And that's really powerful. And granted, I'm not saying if you do 400 inspections, I am more than happy to share everything that I have. And that's why we're doing this podcast. And you know what? I may pick up a piece that you're doing. Maybe you're handling a situation a certain way. I believe we can learn from everybody. But as far as growth of my business,
Yeah.
I'm really going to learn that from people that are, my size, bigger,
Yeah.
or that are doing 10 million, $12 million a year, and how they went about doing that.
Right.
Was it staying in your own territory? So there's, but you got to, one, if you're a business owner, you want to be a business owner. If you're a single man inspection shop, you're not a business owner, you're an employee of your business. If you want to be a business owner, you have to commit yourself to personal growth.
Mhm.
Because because if you don't, you're going to be hiring people who are relying on you. And if you're not growing, then your business is only going to reach a level of your personal growth, and so you always got to be learning. One thing, we had Nathan on here on our podcast, he is committed, and you see he shows up day in, day out, day in, day out. And you see it, like, the actions behind it. He's committed to growing and evolving. I love it,
Yeah.
and so get another thing, find a mentor who's not stagnant, who's growing. who has setting goals for their business, who wants to be better, who hasn't plateaued,
Yeah.
so to speak.
I love what you said at the beginning there too. And I really got it as you were going on there, that when I had originally thought of the topic of mentorship, I was thinking like, all right, so if an audience member of ours who's a new inspector, or has, is a one-man shop, or, has just started out on their journey and sees themselves really growing, I was thinking, how should they find a mentor? But what I didn't think is that it doesn't have to be a mentor in the industry. I love what you were talking about, coaches, and it could be a job from a boss from another job when you were younger. It could be someone that you work with, a colleague, a friend that doesn't exactly work in home inspection. I love that you can find, little nuggets of tips and tricks and advice, and, ways to build your character and stuff like that. These beautiful things you can get from mentors that aren't, home inspection based. So I guess I'm wondering, is there a way that once you get all that stuff, and, you're looking to grow personally and, business, is there a way to connect with people in the home inspection world for mentorships? Is that something that if you build your business up and you want to get to that next level, if you reach out to a home inspector who is, some of those guys that you talked about as people you had looked up to as mentors, is there a way to reach out to them? And would they be receptive of, talking to you about how to grow your own business from that point?
Uh, I'm glad you brought that up. And the three probably top organizations that are mentoring or have mentorship programs in the industry that I can think of right at the top of my head is Inspection Go. They have a platinum group. I'm part of it. I love it. It's great. You have top inspector services group, top members. That is another great group to be in. And I've learned so much on that. IEB, Inspection Empire Builder, is another group. I'm not a member of it, so I really can't speak to it, but I've heard great things about what they're doing, So getting involved in at least one of those organizations is definitely going to help your business.
Yeah.
Now, signing up is one thing. Being involved is something different, right?
Engage.
Oh, if you're not willing to engage and get out of your comfort zone and meet people and build relationships with people, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah.
Then you're going to be pissed off that you spent the money to be involved in that, and it's not going to work. If you got to engage, if you're going to put your money somewhere, whether it's it's a partnership. It's not the mentorship does everything for you. He's guiding you, like you said, Jake, a guide that takes you through, but you have to be the one that takes initiative and ownership and does the work, right? I can give you documents, but you got to make them your own. I can give you, agreements, but you got to make them your own. I can do all that, but it takes you to be able to do it.
You have to want it.
And you mentioned mentorship. I think mentors are important, but don't have 100 mentors. Don't have 15 mentors, right? Like you don't want to be boom, 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 boom. We can only focus on so much at one time that you really got to make sure you're not listening to 1,000 people, because then you're just going to spin in circles, information overload.
It'll be pulling you every different which way.
Pulling you every which way. And you're probably going to waste money and be frustrated.
Yeah.
And this is why personal growth is huge, because to find the right ones, you got to hone in on it. And I'm guilty of this because I'm impatient, and I get impatient on some stuff where, hey, my son, I'm doing something.
Hey,
it's my buddy. Drop in, Jackson. Hey, nope, go get
up?
But I'm guilty of it too, where I get impatient and then I move. And whenever I do that, 95% of the time I lose. I either lose money, I lose time. You have to be patient, focused, and not bouncing from one thing to another.
Yeah.
I remember when I was trying to start other businesses outside of the inspection, and I'd be boom, boom, boom. It was like a ping pong ball, I said, dude, you can't do this. You can't do this, right? You got to focus, and you got to put in the time. And if one doesn't work, then you move to the next one. If one's worked, build that up, and then you can move to the next idea. Don't be an idea guy. Idea guys never get anywhere, right? You got to have an idea and then implement. Idea, implement.
Take action. Yeah. So you have to find actionable items there.
Action items.
And now a quick word from our sponsor, Pair Payments. Are you a home inspector looking to pair with the best payment processor to fit your needs? Well, look no further than Pair Payments. Call us today at 833-968-7767 or visit our website, pairpayments.com. And don't forget to ask about no-fee credit card processing. Thank you. One question I have from that is, all right, so you're taking advice from people, you're listening to people. Did you ever have an instance where someone was really pushing you to go one way, and then you had another mentor that was really telling you that, no, that's not a good idea, you got to go this way? And how do you kind of resolve that and figure out what to do if they have opposite views on something?
Well, I think, the best mentors aren't telling you what to do.
Okay.
Right? They're giving you, what they would do, but that's again personal. It goes back. You have to
personal responsibility.
Personal responsibility. You have to look at their information, look at their results, and then make the educated decision on whether to move forward in that direction. Now, if that's not where your heart is, or you think it needs to go another way, then you go the other way. The mentors that I've had in my life don't get upset when there's a disagreement, right? Or they're telling me that's like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder, right?
Yeah.
That's they're the ones that say, hey, do this. Hey, okay, try that. You may discover something new, but if you're not growing personally and you're not listening to your mentor, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
It just is. You need to be doing both. You need to, like I said, you need to be doing your part in it all as a business owner.
Mm-hmm. And so that's, doing it all, that ties into what would you say? Reading books, listening to podcasts, just talking to people in the industry in general, maybe looking at blog posts, just being
filtering your
pulse.
mind. Yeah. It's filtering your mind, right? We are what the information that we put into our head. I can tell you this, if you're looking at Facebook all day, you probably aren't the happiest motherfucker in the world.
No way. Yeah.
If you're looking at Instagram all day, depending on who you're, probably not the happiest person. But if you're listening to success audios, if you're listening to learning podcasts, business podcasts, if you're not watching the news, right? And you're watching things that actually are growing this inside of you, putting good information in your brain, you are going to set yourself up for success. Your subconscious mind is so powerful.
Yeah.
And if you're filling it with shit, the election, the Biden versus Trump, and
it's too much noise.
Black Lives Matter versus Trump supporters rioting.
It's
acts of terrorism. I mean, there's too much noise, and you can get involved in that.
Waste your time and your mental bandwidth.
Yeah, exactly. As a business owner, I could be upset that taxes could potentially get raised under Joe Biden. But what is getting upset really solve?
Nothing. And you don't have the time for that.
Nothing, right? If my taxes go up 12% like they're supposed to, okay, cool. I have to then adjust as a business owner, and I have to get with my CPA, and I have to plan for that. That is the solution, instead of saying, oh, fuck, Joe, damn it, you're raising my taxes, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to focus on the solution.
Yeah.
Okay, now what do I have to do to prepare for this? Because I know it's coming. Where can I get my deductions? Because I know those are probably going to open up. So those are the things that I'm going to focus on as a business owner. And then the same if, it's adapting.
Yeah.
And those that don't adapt or get stuck in their ways or bitch and piss and moan, I'm a step ahead of you. Because I'm not going to focus on that stuff.
And one principle I think really you're helping me tie into this is the principle of like not invented here in design, where you take a product that was, invented for a different use, and you say, wow, that's a great piece of engineering, or it's a great product, and let's use that component in something else. So that's called not invented here. And it's a great way to, take something from a different field and be able to utilize it. So you're saving money and time, all that. But what I'm thinking is, we were talking about mentors, how they don't have to be home inspection mentors. It can be like a coach that helps you grow as a person, stuff like that. And when you're talking about the podcast, that, like, for me, that's a little bit of a light that's going off. And I'm thinking, wow, I didn't realize how much I was learning in other podcasts that were just educational, that weren't business podcasts, but I was able to get business principles from them, whether or not they were, historical podcasts or economic podcasts that were just breaking down, like a Freakonomics podcast on the study of lines and how people
Yep.
view in lines and stuff like that. So all these different podcasts, even if they're just entertaining and it's a story about someone's life or something someone did, you really can pull from that. It just has to be good quality stuff. You can't get too over cluttered with all the noise of politics going, back and forth, stuff like that, or people, posting just random stuff that is just about them or something. Like, you really do have to filter through it and pull from anything you can.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to. And again, filters are important. Don't get caught up in the noise.
Yeah.
But yeah, you business principles are business principles because they work.
Yeah.
It's not like there's no. It's called a principle because if you apply them, it works. Like,
Yeah.
The only way it doesn't work is if you don't apply them. And you can get them from anyone. What's the difference between a home inspection business and HVAC systems? Products, but you still have to have customer service. You still have to have people scheduling. You still have to have people, doing the work, right? It's just the product that you're delivering or the service that you're delivering, but it's all the same.
Yeah.
It's still a product and a service. So it's just, instead of doing home inspections, we're doing HVAC system repairs. So they're definitely applicable, and you can learn something from anybody who's grown a big business.
Yeah.
Now the income structures might be different, the percentages might be different. You got to tweak
translate
those. Yeah, you got to tweak those so your business is profitable, right? You can't pay people more than you can pay them for the work that they're doing. That's just stupid, right?
Yeah.
It's bad business. So those are the details. But as far as like the big picture, macroeconomic picture of it all, it's very similar.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for helping me, flesh this out and understand mentorships in business a lot more. I appreciate it, Joey.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks, Jake, man. I love doing this with you, brother.
Me too. Great
Thank you,
conversation.
thank you guys. If this is valuable for you, please share it. Please write a review for us. We love your feedback. If you have a topic that you want us to cover, again, we're a business podcast in the home inspection industry. Please let us know. We'd love to talk about topics. If you want to be a guest on our show, please reach out to us, message us, email us. We'd love to have you. We'd love for you to be on here. We'd love for you to get exposure any way we can to help. So
absolutely.
Thank you guys so much.
Well, yep. Thank you very much. And we are actually now going to be posting this on the same podcast platforms, but new YouTube channel. As you all know, we're sponsored by Pair Payments, but we're moving off of the Pair Payments YouTube channel and onto the Inspection Pro Joe channel that we have created on YouTube. So stay tuned for that. And we are excited for some of the new guests we're having on. We had a little bit of a scheduling issue with some guests that we got lost in the mix, but we will be having some great guests coming on very shortly. So again, thank you, Joey. Thank you to our audience very much. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.